afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with our partners, Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. I am your host and lead commentator, Chukka Wilson, and I welcome you to this broadcast. Today is the 20th of January, and we are going to be seeing day 2 of round 9 in the B grade clash between Diamond Creek and Mernda at the Coventry Oval in Diamond Creek in the 2017-18 season. This is Channel 8. Now, we had one of the more unusual days here last week for day 1 of this clash, which is that the rain came and it was never really super heavy, but it was strong enough to stop play, and it stuck around for the rest of the day, which of course meant that the entire day's play was called off after the opening quarter, and so we only got 20 overs of play from the entire day's play. So the unusual thing about this is that it's past the cut-off time. The cut-off time is earlier than that, so that means that the DVCA cannot just automatically declare that the day's play was lost and that day 2 has been turned into a one-day game. It had to be decided upon the DVCA administratively, and they chose not to do anything, which means that all of the games that were able to play enough to warrant a day's play are still on the books. And so that means that we have one of the most unusual days approaching us. But let's just have a look at what happened last week. So, Diamond Creek versus Mernda, round 9 of the B grade in the 2017-18 season here at Coventry Oval in Diamond Creek on the 13th of January. Mernda batted first and ended up 2 for 53 after 22.4 overs. Jarabek fell for a duck in the first over. Soyun is still in on 33 not out. Mercury made 10, and the other not out batsman is Smith. For the Diamond Creek bowlers, Sexton took 1 for 8, McCormick 1 for 14, Elzink 0 for 7, and Saul none for 18. And so the rain came. It started approaching a couple of overs previously, and it kept getting more and more intense. And eventually, the umpire declared that the days needed to be called off, and everyone ran off. And the rain did not subside over the course of the day. And eventually, the umpire, at about 4 o'clock, pulled up the stumps and called the day's play off. So what this means is, first of all, it's one of those strange in-betweeners. So if the rain had come earlier, then the entire day's play would have been called off, and then there would be a one-day game happening today. Alternatively, if the rain hadn't have come, then we would have had a full 2-day clash. So this is an awkward situation because the rain has come. There is no compulsory closure anymore, so there's no close of an innings at any point for Mernda, and it's going to be a huge task for us to see a first innings result because of how little in the game there is left. So right now, Mernda are only 2 wickets down on only 50 runs. They are neither in a position of getting bowled out anytime soon, nor are they in any position to set a target which they could defend by bowling Diamond Creek out. So the two results that could happen are that Diamond Creek are able to bowl Mernda out and then chase the runs down in the remaining time, which is certainly, this is all possible, but it's just improbable because of as we've only got 80 overs for it all to happen. So it has to happen very quickly and very promptly and very decisively. So they could bowl out Mernda and then chase the runs down, bowl out Mernda for 150 and then try and chase it down. I mean, that's possible. Alternatively, Mernda could set a target by quickly reaching a score of 200 and then bowling out Diamond Creek for 100. I mean, that's possible, but they would both have to be remarkable events. Everything would have to go their way because the overwhelming thrust of this game, because of the finite amount of time left, is going to be towards a draw. And the team that's batting first, Mernda, if they fall down to 7 wickets down and they're in trouble, they could just shut up shop and try and defend out and block out the rest of the game until Diamond Creek don't have enough time to chase down the runs. Alternatively, if Diamond Creek worry that they're going to get bowled out, they could also shut up shop. And so because there's not enough time in the game, it means that there's always that option of going for the draw. In a larger game where there'd be more overs left to play with, then actually fighting for the draw is much more difficult. So if the rain had have come, say, after 60 overs, and that means that Mernda would be more wickets down and have more runs on the board, and that means the maths of calculating who could win under what scenario would be much more liberal and multi-faceted. But right now there are only a couple of options of how this game could go if we're going to see a first innings result. Now, let's just have a look at the ladder again, just so that you get a sense of the current situation of the game. Now, Mernda had a terrible start to the season, 2 losses and a tie, but then amazingly turned it around with 4 wins in a row, putting them in the top 4. And so, with just a few rounds to go before the end of the home and away season, it means that they are in a good position to, first of all, solidify a spot in the top 4. This win will pretty much make sure that they guarantee a spot in the top 4, and then they can worry about trying to get into first or second place and get that all-important home semi-final. As for Diamond Creek, they had a very good start to the season with a couple of wins and the tie, and so they were, you know, in the top 4 after 3 rounds. But then things fell apart. There's no other way to say it. The materials and the culture and the strategies that brought them those wins and the tie just seemed to fall apart, and it just things just started not going right for them, and so that's why we saw losses for Diamond Creek across November and December. And so now Diamond Creek are out of the finals. They are presently out of the finals, out of the top 4, and it would be a great challenge for them to be able to recover their position in order to get back into the top 4 and take up a spot in the semi-finals. It would require a lot of work. And there's only after this round, I think there's only 3 to go, so they would just have to win this one and then win at least 1 other, maybe 2 others, in order to actually get into the finals. But since this is likely going to be a draw today, it means that they will have to win 2 of the 3 remaining games for them to get into the finals. So it means that in terms of who wants to win and who needs to win, Mernda could play for the draw. They don't have to win. They are in the finals. If they wanted to just, you know, score whatever, bat out the entire day, score, you know, 8 for 290 by batting out the 80 overs today, plus what they did last week, they are perfectly within their powers to do so. And there's nothing that Diamond Creek could do about it if Mernda are able to bat really well. And Mernda do not need to declare in order to force the play, in order to force the game ahead, in order to try to bowl Diamond Creek out. Alternatively, Diamond Creek, if they let this game go and they don't fight for a win here, then they are putting so much pressure on themselves for the remainder of the home and away season, where they just say, we have to win, you know, every game that we play from now on. That has to be the attitude, and that is huge amounts of pressure. So surely today we are going to see Diamond Creek being proactive and aggressive, trying to force the game ahead, trying to actually get a result, trying to bowl out Mernda. So they need 8 wickets. They could probably chase down 150 or 200, and so they would have to bowl out Mernda for that sort of score, and then hope to chase it down in the remaining parts of the game. So how that maths will work out, I don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see, because we're going to see what Diamond Creek's attitude is to this game, because if they set very aggressive fields, if they make sure that their prime bowlers are always bowling, that means, and if they have some sort of strategy in mind with how they're trying to get the batsman out, then we can get a reasonable sense of exactly what they're trying to do, and that they're trying to actually force the game ahead. But if they decide to bring on their 2nd and 3rd and 4th tier bowlers, set very conservative fields with men around the ring, then it just seems like they're just trying to control the game, don't let it get away from them, stop the singles, try and halt everything from going forward anymore, and just trying to hold on and make sure that it's a draw by not allowing Mernda to score enough runs that they could possibly get ahead and declare. And so, yeah, that is pretty much the initiative of what Diamond Creek would be if they're going for the win, setting aggressive fields and making sure their best bowlers are always on. And if they want to just defend the game and hope to play out for a draw, then they will be very defensive, trying to protect the boundaries, trying to protect the singles, making sure that stroke play is very difficult, and not bothering with too many in the slip cordon. So those are the terms of play right now. All right, let's take a break now. You are watching Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with our partners Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. I am your host and lead commentator, Chukka Wilson, and I welcome you to this broadcast. We are seeing day 2 of the round 9 clash in the B grade of the 2017-18 season between Diamond Creek and Mernda here at the beautiful Coventry Oval in Diamond Creek. Alright, after the break we'll have more of the morning show.
Something was in the air, floating around us and slowly surrounding us whole. Was it a second, a day, or a year when you began to disappear? Do you remember the moment you started to know it was done? With a whimper, not a bang, not a lion, but a lamb. We just withered and died like a lily outside in the cold. And the Rome wasn't built in a day, it took longer still to decay. Slowly but surely your brain just blurred me away. Chains were strained, and slowly your passion waned. We once talked all night, now we don't even fight anymore. At first I thought you needed space, but I was already being erased. The sole resolution, a foregone conclusion, it's done. With a whimper, not a bang, not a lion, but a lamb. We just withered and died like a lily outside in the cold. And the Rome wasn't built in a day, it took longer still to decay. Slowly but surely your brain just blurred me away. Where you must go, and I'll follow mine through the tangle of vines in the night. So this is the way that it ends, a half-hearted promise to always be friends. A glance at the floor, then you walk out the door to your life. With a whimper, not a bang, not a lion, but a lamb. We just withered and died like a lily outside in the cold. And the Rome wasn't built in a day, it took longer still to decay. Slowly but surely
Now, welcome back. You are watching Channel 8, the local sports network. We broadcast local cricket across the DVCA area, but with particular focus on Diamond Creek. We are working in association with our partners, Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. I am your host and lead commentator, Chukka Wilson, and I will be guiding you through today's cricket. So we are going to be watching Diamond Creek versus Mernda in Day 2 of Round 9 in the B grade of the 2017-18 season here at the Coventry Oval in Diamond Creek. Now, as we were talking about earlier on in the morning show, Mernda are 2 for 53 after 22.4 overs. With their opener, Solyon, still in on 33 not out. The other not out batsman is Smith with just 2. And then the two wickets for Diamond Creek were taken by Sexton and McCormick. So if we look at the other games that are being played in the B grade, we can see that it's not that different. First of all, 2 of the games have not bothered to actually register the scorecard of the game before the rain came. And so if you go to the scorecard on the My Cricket website, you just get the 2 competing 11s and then a note that says that the match is in progress. So because such a little of the game actually happened, there wasn't really a point, they figured, to actually put all the score into the machine, and so they just have left it for tonight when the game is over. And so we don't know what's happening with Montmorency and Riverside, or Epping and Bundoora United. The only other game, apart from the Diamond Creek Mernda game, which actually bothered to provide us with the statistics, is the McLeod versus Bundoora game at McLeod Park. McLeod batting first, 1 for 39 after 24.5 overs. 1 for 39. So in terms of how far through the game they've gotten, it is pretty much comparable to the situation we have right here. So the only batsman out is Bosso with 14. The 2 not out batsmen are Ahmed with 13 not out and Copsey with yet to score. For the Bundoora bowlers, Fullerlove 1 for 6, McGenishan none for 4, and Fisher none for 18. So from what we've been able to tell, pretty much the rain came across the entire Diamond Valley region at around about the same time, which has stopped the games happening at roughly the same time, which is just after the first drinks break. And that's significant because it means that 60 overs or 55 overs has been lost, and there are only and not enough wickets have fallen, which means that there's only 80 overs to go in the rest of the game, and yet the batting team batting first has yet to produce any sort of significant runs on the board. Also has not lost that many wickets, so they are neither in a position to actually score enough runs and declare, nor are they in risk of getting bowled out, and so that the team batting second has a chance to chase them down. And so there is a strong likelihood, very good possibility I believe, that we will see 4 draws today. All 4 games are suffering from the same problem, that there is that you can't, win an entire game in just 80 overs without compulsory closure, needing to take 10 of your opponent's wickets in in order to actually win, or to have a thrilling, gigantic run chase. With just 80 overs to play, it would be a remarkable feat. So I am expecting there to be those 4 draws, which of course means that the ladder will not change approaching round 10, with the final couple of home and away games to go before the finals, as we leave January and we approach February. And of course the finals, the semi-finals are of course in Labor Day weekend, which is in March, and so just the month of February is to go, in which teams can actually win the games to shift the balance of the ladder. So if everything happens the way it's expected, then Butler United will get some points finally. They have been struggling down the bottom of the ladder, and everyone will stay in their same position. So Diamond Creek will not be able to jump up into the finals. Mernda will retain their spot at number 2, and we'll just have to move on to round 10. But we'll just have to see. The possibility of Epping beating Butler United is certainly there. Butler United have pulled off some very bad performances so far this season, and so if ever there was a team that was vulnerable to losing a 2-day game in 1 day, it would be them. But we'll see. We will see. Alright, it's time to take a break now. You are watching Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with our partners Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. I am Chukka Wilson, and I am your host and lead commentator. We are here at the Coventry Oval in Diamond Creek, watching the B grade game, Day 2, Round 9 of the 2017-18 season, which is Diamond Creek versus Mernda. Let's take a break now, and when we come back, we've got more of the morning show.
What you gonna tell them when they come back? What you gonna tell them when they ask where you at? What you gonna have to say for yourself? Never gonna let them see your true face. Stick it in a box and put it on a shelf. Oh. She got a 3-piece suit and a 1-piece hairpiece, making everybody in the gutter feel like slime. Oh. Wake up, Mr. Troublemaker. Now your house is mine. Troublemaker, try to make a little trouble with me. Troublemaker, gonna send you back to Tennessee. Troublemaker, make your mind, make it dime anytime. Put it in a wallet while you take what's mine. While you take what's mine. What you see with your open eyes, sympathize, looking on the money with the eyes to the sky. Troublemaker, try to make a little trouble with me. Troublemaker, gonna send you back to Tennessee. Troublemaker, try to make a little trouble with me. highway. Think of all the people that you've broken to. Stubble on the cheekbones, chewing on the meat bones. Fatter than a cattle and they're mad enough to battle. But I recommend that you just stay away. Troublemaker, try to make a little trouble with me. Troublemaker, gonna send her ass to Tennessee. Yeah. Troublemaker, try to make a little trouble with me. Troublemaker, gonna diss you on my MP3.
And welcome back. You are of course watching Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with our partners Bizz 99.9 FM. I am of course Chukka Wilson, the host and lead commentator of this broadcast. Welcome one and all. We are here to watch day 2 of the round 9 clash in the B grade of the 2017-18 season here at the Coventry Oval in Diamond Creek. Diamond Creek versus Mernda. Now, as we all know, last Saturday the game was washed out with too much rain happening after the drinks break. Not only was it heavy enough to keep players off the field, to take players off the field, but then it kept them off by not subsiding, not dissipating, but staying steady and strong and annoying throughout the course of the afternoon until the umpire walked on and removed the stumps. And so we know this, so let's just take a look at the weather that has happened over the course of the last 7 days. So let's start with last Saturday. So what happened last time we were here at the Coventry Oval? It was 20.9 degrees with 16 overnight, and there were 7 millimeters of rain. And then on Sunday, it was 19 degrees with an overnight of 12, and there were 15 millimeters of rain. But over the course of the working week, it has been getting hotter and hotter, and there has been 0 millimeters of rain. So we have not seen any rain for quite some time. So let's start. Monday was 20.9 degrees with 14.6 overnight. Tuesday, 26.9 with 12.9 overnight. Then it got hotter. Wednesday, 30.3 with 12.4 overnight. And then it got to the unbearable Thursday, 40 with 16.6 overnight. And then Friday was 40 with 23 overnight. So it went from being in the late teens to the early 20s, to the mid 20s, to the early 30s, and then up to 40 degrees for 2 days in a row. And that was just yesterday and the day before. 40 degrees, and so it's been very hot, sweaty, dry work for quite some time. But thankfully, it's gone down. There was a cool change that came over last night at about 9 o'clock during the Big Bash game, and so you could turn off your air conditioners, open up the windows, and allow a cool night air into your house. And it reached that unusual point where your house becomes a furnace, and it's actually hotter inside the house than outside the house, because the cool air has the cool change has taken all the hot air away, and it's cool outside, but the hot air has not gone away from inside your house. So anyway, today. Today is Saturday, the 20th of January. The high is, well, first of all, let's go for the overnight score, the overnight temperature. It was 19 degrees last night, and the high is 26. We are scheduled, the Weather Bureau says it will be partly cloudy today. Slight chance of showers in the late afternoon and evening, and they have given us a 30% chance of there being rain, and the projected rainfall would be 0.2 millimeters. And then it is predicted that there will be a thunderstorm sometime overnight, and they're giving us a high fire danger and a high UV danger. And I believe there's some parts of the state that have fire bans. So the temperature has gone down, but it is still very unpleasant. It's very humid right now, even though it's only, the temperature wise, it's only, very pleasantly mild. It's still suffocatingly humid, and there's a lot of density in the air, and you can feel the pressure of the humidity pressing against you. And so even though just on the temperature alone you'd think that it wouldn't be much of a difficulty, with the humidity it actually becomes very laborious and difficult, and you might find it a bit challenging to go about your business today. And so that would be the real difference, I would feel. I don't think it's not enough that it would play a significant part in this game. These players have practicing for a long time. They know how to play cricket. They've been playing cricket as amateurs for a long time. The physical conditions that we see today are not so strenuous and challenging that there would be any lack of performances notable, such that an advantage or disadvantage for either team might be reasonably either predicted or eventuated. So we'll just have to we'll have to see, but I doubt whether the weather will play any thing. The only question is, of course, that projected rain coming this afternoon or this evening, with thunderstorms tonight. If the rain comes before 6 o'clock and it ends the day's play, well, then we've got a draw. But if it comes a bit later, 6:30, 7 o'clock, then we might yet have a result. But there's one thing that's for certain, and that's whoever is fighting for a draw will want the rain to come in the afternoon, evening period about 5 o'clock, so that they can save this game. So that's the weather. Obviously, if it was 40 degrees today, then we wouldn't have any cricket. So the temperature has gone down, and that means we can play, and so that's very good. And so it's just a matter of whether or not that weather would come to any sort of significant element in the game, and I don't think so. So we should have a very good day of cricket, at least up till the lunch session, the lunch time. After lunch is over, then we have greater questions to ask, because the rain will be a factor, trying to force a result will be a factor, because let's not forget that if the two teams have come to the conclusion that no one can win, they can both shake hands at a certain point in the afternoon and call it off for a draw, or call off the game at that point. And so if the team fighting for a draw is trying to save the game, and with the weather the way it is, and it looks like the rain will come and stop play, then they might call it off at 4 o'clock or 3:30 or something like that, if they have reached that conclusion that the approaching rain is simply going to stop the game anyway, and so you might as well stop now because there's no result possible. Alright, so those are my thoughts on exactly how this game will likely take place, and I don't really think that there's anything else to say other than the fact that we're going to be seeing, like I said before, we're going to be seeing an insight into the attitudes and behaviours of the two teams over the course of the first hour, because the ball was wet from the rain last night, so the dryness of the string and the dryness of the string and the shine on the ball will certainly have been affected quite significantly by the events of the rain, but the ball has been dried out over the course of the week, so whether or not this means the ball actually can move a bit faster through the air, or if the water has just damaged the ball to the point where it won't move. How will Diamond Creek bowl? How will they set their fields? What will their strategies be? What will their attempts to get wickets be? What will Mernda do? Will Mernda bat conservatively, aggressively? Will they just check for the first 10 minutes of what's happening before going on the aggression? Will they wait till the drinks break before figuring out what type of target they want to set, and then they'll be more aggressive after the drinks break and hoping to declare sometime after the lunch break? Will Diamond Creek take enough wickets that Mernda want to shut up shop and stop trying to score runs? There is a very small window of a result being possible, and so we're going to see what the two teams' attitudes to this game is, and that will give us an insight into what will likely happen over the course of this rest of the match. Okay, so those are my thoughts. Those are all my thoughts that I have on the state of this game, and so there's nothing else to do but just to wait till the players come out and we can begin this game. And so we're going to take a break now, and when we come back we will see the players walk onto the ground. You are watching Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with our partners, Bizz 99.9 FM, Substitute Radio. I am your host and lead commentator and the managing director of sports production here at Channel 8. I am Chukka Wilson. We are watching day 2 of round 9 in the B grade in the 2017-18 season between Diamond Creek and Mernda here at the stunning Coventry Oval in Diamond Creek. We'll take a break now, and we'll come back. We've got the players walking onto the ground.
Never gonna set you free. Make out all the legal secrets and the stories that he told to you. Lose out trying just to find out where the power slipped away from you. Never know where you fall. Never gonna set you free. Cheapskate romantic. Oh. pictures of the pretty girls in magazines. They can't know about the problems in the pages of your history. Never gonna let it go. Never gonna let it go, ever. Cheapskate romantic, he's never gonna set you free. Cheapskate romantic, oh, oh, oh.
Welcome back. We are here to watch day 2 of the round 9 clash in the B grade of the 2017-18 season between Diamond Creek and Mernda. As we can see right here, the two batsmen for Mernda are just standing around. They are of course going to be continuing batting. The score is 2 for 53 after 22.4 overs. So that is the game situation, and everything is being set up now. That the scoreboard is out of date. They need to correct that. That was a couple of overs ago. So everything's being set up. More batsmen placing everything in order, putting the table out for the scorers. Everything is being put into position, and what are we seeing now? We're seeing more players just standing around chatting. Very interesting there. We're just waiting to see what the umpire is, where he is. I thought I saw him just a second ago, but he seems to have disappeared. So we might just wait for him. But if we think about what the likely situation of the game is going to be, we can try and figure out what Mernda might do if they decide to declare. How many runs would they need to have for them to be in a position where they think that they can defend a score? Not just defend it in the sense that they prevent Diamond Creek from scoring enough runs, because without compulsory closure that's not enough. What they would need to do is take the wickets. So that's the question: can they take enough wickets that they could reasonably be expected to be able to give this game, try and win this game. Okay, here's the umpire walking out onto the middle with the ball in hand. Here come the two batsmen, and here come the Diamond Creek players. So it's going to be interesting to see, of course, what the Diamond Creek captain decides to do, Mr. Williams. What strategies will he deploy? What ideas will he come up with over the course of today's play? We're going to be watching with a great deal of interest. So, the ball, it's very important. So we've got to finish off the rest of this over before we can move on to the next over. Sorry, everyone's just setting themselves up, where everyone's getting into their fielding positions. We are only a few moments away . What could they be talking about, and they haven't already sorted it out ahead of time? Alright. Very good. So now we've got someone batting at the striker's end. Gonna take up. And we've got a fielder on the deep in the straight hit position, just in front of the coach's box. Alright, let's take a break now. When we come back, got ball one.
We lay in the glow of the neon city lights, eyes on the wall through another sleepless night. I just wanna be alone again. And I'm remembering I was a wreck when we met at the dollar store. I should have just made a run for the exit door. I was into you, but now I'm in too deep. I was over my head, but you said that I'm safer in your arms. I was over my head, so I fled to the comfort of your charms. Guess at the time you were so idealized. Now in the light of the day I realized I was into you, but now I'm in too deep. And now I think that it is sad that I had to get tangled in the wires of your snare. It's sad that we had to evaporate and vanish in the air. I don't care if you go. I don't care if you go. I don't care if you up and walk away and just leave me with a wave in the dark. I don't care if you go. I don't care if you go. Now I see that it never really mattered. It's just another chapter to close. I don't care if you go. Do what you want. I am tired, I am sick of this. I never wanted to even admit to this. I was into you, but now I'm in too deep. And now I'm telling you, I may be awake, but I never really opened up my eyes. I may be awake, but I never really wanted to rise. And I don't care if you go. I don't care if you go. I don't care if you up and walk away and just leave me with the wave in the dark. I don't care if you go. I don't care if you go. And now I see that it never really mattered. It's just another chapter to close. I don't care if you go.